Hi, everybody. Terry Martin here. I am reminding you that the June primary is coming up, and that is on June 28th. Now, later today, I'll be back on the campaign trail. If you don't know, I am running for Congress in the 13th District of Illinois. I am doing this after some 30 years of covering issues both at the national level and around the state of Illinois. Now, one of the key issues that all of us are feeling at this time is inflation, and that's being driven largely by the increase in oil prices. I would argue, and many other experts would argue, it is because of some of the policy positions by the Biden administration that have caused oil production to be held back, that the supply of oil needs to be increased, and that because oil production is being held back, that is what is driving the cost of oil up, and that has a domino effect. It creates prices across the board to go up because energy is obviously used in everything we do. I posted a video just the other day, and I'm going to make this short, that we need energy independence. We had it under President Trump. We can have it again. And one of the key ways we can do that is not only to loosen the regulations. That doesn't mean we don't have any regulations, but not only to loosen the regulations on American oil and natural gas production, but to also, and I've argued this on the campaign trail, to develop closer relations with Canada and with Mexico. And we could have a North American energy independence pact that would make it all of our citizens insulated from these oil shocks that can come about, as we have seen, when something goes awry, as it did with Russia invading Ukraine. And then all of a sudden we get that spike. Now, oil prices were up because of Biden administrations before the spike from Ukraine, but Ukraine made it even worse. Hopefully, if that's resolved in the months ahead, oil prices can come down. But we have it in our power, the United States, and certainly the United States and Canada in conjunction, to insulate ourselves, insulate our economy from the spike in oil prices. And then as we want to look at other sources of energy, we can do that. And there are a number of them out there that can be developed. Again, I don't want to make this too long, but I've done a lot of coverage over the years on energy, and we have it in our power within the United States to become energy independent in a relatively short amount of time. Just today, I was looking at the U.S. Senate committee hearing on energy independence. And I'm going to, after my comments right here, play about a 7-minute version for you, because I really endorse what is being said by both the senators, Senator Manchin, who is a Democrat from West Virginia. He chairs the committee, a very solid, common sense guy. And I say, as part of my campaign, send common sense to Congress. We can. I'll play this committee, but I wanted to repeat some of the information to bring it more to your attention. That the United States now imports about 2.2 billion barrels of oil, 2.2 billion barrels of oil a year. Where do you think that comes from? Our importations. That's aside from what we produce ourselves. 62% of American oil imports come from Canada. Now, I will also tell you, as a journalist, over the years, I have focused on this issue. I have interviewed a number of the Consul-Generals out of the Chicago Consulate, the Consul-Generals of Canada. Canada is not only America's #1 trading partner, Canada, and in fact, Alberta, Canada, is Illinois' #1 trading partner. And again, I'm running for the 13th district. As you may have seen in a recent video I did, we have the refinery in Wood River that refines and takes the oil that we get coming into into Illinois, and we refine that into gasoline and other oil products. So Illinois is a major energy state in terms of our impact on the national economy, and that comes right down to the 13th district over in the Metro East, where we do so much of the refinery. And there's other refineries in other parts of the state as well. But anyway, 62% of our oil imports from other nations come from Canada. It underscores what I'm arguing for, that we need to have these close relationships. We have our electric grid goes across the border. We have pipelines going across the Canadian border. By comparison, only 6% of our oil imports come from Saudi Arabia. But when we had the disruption in oil supplies and the spike in energy from this Ukraine invasion, where did the Biden administration go knocking on the door? To Saudi Arabia, to Venezuela, instead going to Canada and saying, what can we do to work closer together? So folks, again, this is not a partisan rant. This is me saying, I want what's good for America. And I'll close with this. For American energy independence, we need to have reliability and affordability. As we have that, because if we don't have affordability, you're going to be pricing people out of their homes. You're going to be pushing them back into the 19th century without the ability to pay for heating their homes or having the electricity on. Has to be reliable. Our hospitals need that. Our manufacturing needs that. And just imagine yourself taking an elevator up a high-rise. Do you want the energy or electrical grid to be reliable, or do you want to be on that elevator when there are brownouts? So reliability and affordability are key. We can do this. And then we can move with the research that is ongoing at this time to develop other forms and sources of energy. I'll close with this. I know a lot of people are against fossil fuels, but they are a bridge to the future. They're not necessarily the future, they're a bridge to the future. But wind and solar are not. Wind and solar are very limited in their application. As other energy experts have said, you have to look at here's a key term for you to understand, energy density. How small can we have our energy source that powers our economy? And windmills are the least dense energy source. They take up a lot of land. You have to space them out because otherwise they're going to be interfering with one another. Wind is probably the least viable of our energy sources. And as I so often say, quit thinking in terms of just powering your lights at home. We have to be powering our manufacturing. We have to be powering our subways in America. We have to be powering our steel mills because we need steel. You're not going to have Teslas without the steel. You're not going to have windmills up on that post without steel because that post that's holding up the windmill is not made of paper mache. If we're going to be a modern industrialized society, we need reliable energy. And if we're going to keep a middle class, we're going to need to have affordable energy. It is affordable energy that has produced this wonderful, sumptuous American lifestyle. Take away the affordability of energy, and we'll be like any other third world country. With that, I'm going to play the video from today, May 17th, hearing in the U.S. Senate Committee on Natural Resources. This is just a part of the hearing, in fact, near the end, when they are talking about working together with Canada to insulate both of our countries. And we are blessed, by the way, to have such great neighbors as Canada, to insulate both of our countries, both of our economies, and our peoples from having other countries being able to threaten us by cutting off energy, by cutting off oil. We have it in our power to insulate ourselves. I would argue we should. And with that, here's the committee hearing. Thank you for joining me.
Treat Canadian energy as though it were American energy and really enter into a true alliance would send a hugely important signal to our companies, our upstream companies and our midstream companies, that there will be a future market here, that you're not hostile to Canadian energy. As I said, look, if we were serious about this, we could achieve within 5 years a complete elimination of North American imports of OPEC energy. That would be demonstrably good for the world environment and global peace and security.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Senator Hicken.
I just would like to add, again, my appreciation for your attendance and participation today, but also of how much I support the vision of the greater North American energy, all of the above, and recognizing that our guiding light does have to be that the climate is changing much more rapidly than any of us would want. We're seeing it's an increase there's a larger percent of our landscape that is increasingly hostile to habitation and the production of food. And it's going to take a long time to we have to find effective ways and efficient ways to get carbon out of the air. But I think some of the benefits that we could have by working together, and you've all pointed this out today, we're stepping on our own greatest opportunity. I think the import of solar panels from Canada was that Mr. Wilkinson that mentioned that? We're going through that issue right now. The Commerce Department again is looking at the provenance of solar panels that could put our solar industry on its back for an extended period of time. For what real point? I mean, I understand the arguments on both sides. I'm not saying that I shouldn't say for what real point, but I understand the point. I don't think it's relevant in terms of trying to deal with a massive problem like climate, which is what all of you are clearly doing. So hopefully this hearing is a foundation that allows us to go forward and really begin looking at what an alliance would look like in a more pragmatic way. And I agree with all of you that it's got to work on the state level, on the local level as well. But it'll never succeed without the cooperation and the orchestration of the federal governments involved. So, and I would hope that we could all work with Mexico as well. I think that they could be a very active and powerful partner in a lot of these issues, solar panels included. Anyway, I have no further questions, just admiration and appreciation.
Thank you, Senator. Let me say to all of you, I appreciate so much. We've been looking forward to this for quite some time, and it's been very, very helpful. What I will say is that I think the world's looking to North America right now, and that includes all of us working together. What I do see as the problem, and I've said this, my administration, with all the goodwill and intent that they have, and all of our concerns that we have responsibility to this beautiful planet that we've been able to occupy, to do the best we can. But with that, I've said this, this is called global climate. It's not called Canadian climate. It's not called United States climate. It's called global. And we have done more in I'm going to say the last 2 decades, probably to clean up using the fossils that we use in a cleaner fashion, which is the world's depending upon. And when I watch what China, they keep talking about China renewables. China has 3,000 coal-fired plants, and they're building 400 more. They're not taking their foot off the pedal at all. India had 500 to up to 800, and they want to build 100 more. United States is going down. You all have basically gone down. Everybody has tried to be as responsible. You take the developing nations of the world and the leaders of the world, such as us and you take us out of the fossil industry before we have the replacement that the rest of the world can move into. God help us. God help the climate, because the rest of them will not do what we're going to do. They won't do what we have done in this free democracy that we all live in and the freedoms that we all enjoy. We've done it because it was the right thing to do. But taking us out of that industry before we have a replacement, and all I've said is the United States of America should go down 2 paths. We should basically make sure that we have reliable, secured energy for a period of time going through this transition as we are investing in the technology. You cannot eliminate your way to a cleaner climate. You can innovate your way to it. And when those crisscross and you give me as much out of what I'm getting out of the fossil now, dependable, reliable, and affordable, and when you can give me that based on dispatchable, reliable power whenever I want it, from the new technology that we are coming and we will be designing and developing, that's when the market takes over. It's not us making government decisions. It'll be the market that makes those decisions. But we have everybody afraid, well, if we do this and we build this great alliance in North America, we will become so good and so efficient in what we're doing, it'll just be basically prolonging us using fossil when people want us not to. And I only said I can speak from just my position and one vote as a senator, that I will not vote to support the European model of what they're dealing with today. I think we can do it better. And that's why I came to Canada, to see if you all would join us in the North American Alliance. And maybe we can get Mexico, as Senator Hickenlooper. We want to do that. But we have the ability, and I am scared to death that what Xi Jinping is watching, what Putin did with energy, is what he would do with the critical minerals for our computer chips, for basically the cathodes and anodes and the processing. And right now, I think both of our countries are dependent on what's coming from Russia in the technology end of it for us to be able to transition. I don't want to transition and be totally reliant on foreign supply chains. That's just me. And Minister Wilkinson, that's why I said energy is something, hydrogen is something I know we can do. So I've looked at that very astutely, and basically very encouraging that there's so much more that needs to be done. But again, I can say, I don't think we can do it without each other, and I think we need each other. I appreciate very much. We want to break down these barriers. We want to make common sense decisions. We don't want to take away and shoot ourselves any more than we already have, and I think we can heal the wounds that we have. And I just appreciate, and I hope you have a safe journey back home. Look forward to visiting you soon. And with that, let me just say, members will have until close of business tomorrow to submit additional questions for the record if they weren't able to submit today. I appreciate this climate partnership that we've been able to speak about. And also, I want to thank you again, and this committee will stand adjourned.
Please subscribe to this channel and consider making a donation to support my campaign by going to my website, terrymartinforcongress.com. Thank you.